I've been on a bit of a quest since I started this YouTube channel to arrive at the best configuration for making videos on YouTube. And as far as audio, the thing that all the bigger YouTubers seem to insist that is more important than anything else, I progressed through a large swath of different audio capture devices to land on this studio microphone here, for now. Here's what I've learned so far. My name is Nicholas Johnson, and this is the Space Warehouse. This isn't necessarily meant as a comparison or an endorsement of any particular brand of microphone, because different brands that are in the same category and echelon of microphone, like price and type, generally, practically, effectively sound almost indistinguishable from one another. Like a $100 desktop microphone is going to sound a lot like another $100 desktop microphone. Or a $40 dynamic voice microphone will sound a whole lot like a different $40 dynamic voice microphone. The brands don't matter nearly as much as the price point and type of microphone for what you're using. If you were to record a sentence on the Blue Yeti, the Razer Siren X, or this, the Amazon Basics Professional Mic 2, and then play them back on YouTube, I don't think you'd be able to pick out which recording is which without like really isolating the voice audio alone and like listening super closely for audio artifacts that you already knew about. So hopefully we can help somebody who's in the very beginning of this process just decide how much money they want to spend or what type of microphone to get in the first place. There is definitely a point of diminishing returns with how much money you can spend, and the upper limit is really high, basically because this Sony microphone does exist, $10,000. First, and most importantly, I want to say that any mic is better than no mic. Here, for instance, is the sound that's coming directly out of my camera with nothing attached to it. My camera's 12 feet away from me and I'm in a room with concrete walls. This is definitively your worst option. Attaching a shotgun mic to your camera makes it a little bit better. So a shotgun microphone would be a lot better if you're someone who shoots like this, where the camera is basically right in front of me. I'm shooting 16 millimeters rather than the 50 millimeters that I had set up before. If you're running around and don't have time to set up lapel mics or something like that, then a shotgun mic is going to be your best option. If you don't want to spend money on a microphone, an easily overlooked option is just your phone. This is the audio recorded from my iPhone, just sitting on the desk in front of me through the Voice Memos app. Compared to nothing, it's surprisingly clear. Next on the list is just this Tascam voice recorder. This sound is being recorded straight through its external microphones. These are the same little devices that I use if I'm going to be hooking up a lav mic, either if I'm standing or moving around for whatever reason. Moving on to the lav mics. I wanted to test the difference between the super cheap Chinese ones that you can get on Amazon for like $8, which is the sound you're hearing right now, and compare that to what I guess I'm going to call a mid-range $99 Rode lav mic, the Rode Link Lav. So this audio now is from the Rode Lav mic. It's a $100 microphone compared to an $8 microphone. And I was really surprised at the difference being so slim between these two, between the sound of these two. In the grand scheme of things, the $8 mic does not sound that much different from the $100 mic in the lav mic category. The Rode mic did come with this adorable little dead cat that you can put on it in case there's like a ton of wind or whatever. But obviously that's not like an $80 add-on. I have to assume that it's way more durable, but I just got it, so I can't speak to that yet. But I do know that I've broke 4 of those cheap Chinese ones in the last year of filming miscellaneous things, moving around. Usually the little thing that plugs into the recorder breaks off because it's too long, because you got to use a little converter thing for it or whatever. Anyways, the sound quality though is really close. I don't know. You be the judge for if you want to spend $100 on that or $8 on that. With the $8 ones, you are going to have to keep buying them. And if you don't like the idea of like syncing up your audio, because this audio is captured separately from the video that's being captured in the camera, they do have these things. So this sits on top of the camera, this sits on top of the camera, this just connects to your belt, and the lav mic can go right into this thing, send it to the camera so that it's combined automatically. That's way more convenient. It's another couple $100 though. Handheld dynamic mics. I have a $10 one and a $50 one. Starting with the cheaper Behringer, I don't know, microphone. These microphones need to be run through a preamp mixer that goes into your computer, that goes into your audio program of choice. So it does add like a layer of complexity to your setup. But if you're doing something like a podcast where you need like, I don't know, lots of mics plugged in at once, this mixer makes it a whole lot easier to get individual volumes for individual people versus just if you're by yourself and you have a desktop mic. So for my application, I prefer like a USB desktop mic because I just have one input, sometimes two if Sarah's joining me or whatever. But I can see the appeal of having a mixer so you have different volumes for different microphones. But if you don't, you're just adding more things in between you and getting your project done. This is the more expensive, but still not that expensive, Samsung Q6. This is a $50 microphone. I don't think that you'll be able to hear an actual quality difference between the cheap one and the nice one. The big difference comes if you have like a live speaker. If you're in a live setting, more expensive microphones tend to do better with feedback. They don't feedback as easily if there's a speaker present. But in a studio setting like this, where the sound is just going into a computer and nothing's coming back out, I am going to guess that these basically sound the same. So if that's all you're going to use it for, you don't need to spend that much money on one of these microphones at all. And finally, the desktop USB mics. There are lots of options of these particular types of mics that you can buy, and there's a zillion reviews online that compare them to one another. But really, for me, I think they fall into three categories. Really two categories, because the third one is just unnecessary. There are cheap ones and nice ones. And then there's like stupid, crazy expensive ones that I don't think you can hear the difference unless you're wearing soundproof headphones in a soundproof environment and you've isolated the voice and that's all you can hear and you can just pick it apart. Anyway, this is a very cheap mic, the Amazon Basics Desktop Mini Condenser Mic. You can find it for like $35 on Amazon. It's super cheap. It's made out of plastic. It feels cheap. It kind of looks cheap up close. It is really light though, so if you're using one of those bendy mechanical arm things, it'll hold it really well. I've found that this is super sensitive, so I can't really go up close to it because then my voice starts to max out. With this mic, you have no gain control. You have no input volume control, so you do have to sit away from it a little bit, which will affect the quality of the sound of it a little bit. Unlike this guy, which has an actual input level knob right on the front of it, so you can turn that down and turn that up. The sound is fine. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. It is unidirectional, so it should only pick up sound mostly from right in front of you. Maybe if your computer's running beside you or whatever, that's great. It's cheap, but again, it's way better than just using the camera's microphone, because anything that gets the microphone closer to the source of the sound that it's recording makes it sound better. And finally, the last mic on the list, and what has become my main talking head mic after trying out all these other microphones over the last year, is this. This is, again, and it's really funny that I'm using Amazon Basics stuff, but and it wasn't even like, it's not like it's cheaper. It's the same price as a Blue Yeti that everybody loves so much. I really like the way it looks and sounds. It's got 3 condenser capsules for 4 different recording modes. It's made out of metal, so it feels a little more substantial. It also has its own input level control on the front, which I find to be quite helpful. It does have a headphone jack on there so you can hear back your own voice in real time. I don't like to monitor audio while it's happening. I just look at the waveform with my eyes and I can see that it's not clipping out or anything. Anyway, this isn't a review of this specific microphone, but this is what I've landed on as the best echelon microphone, the not cheap but not crazy expensive desktop USB microphone that you get to sit really close to and has control over the audio. I think this is the real sweet spot for this particular talking head application. Razer, the keyboard company, makes one. Blue has the Yeti that everybody likes and loves. Samsung makes a really good desktop USB microphone, but like about the $100 range of USB desktop mics is, if you ask me, it's the way to go. There do exist, of course, much more expensive microphones, but I mean, as long as your video has some sort of background music or background sound, or if you're doing something anyways, it's not like your voice is totally isolated in a vacuum and people are listening with sound canceling headphones at just the quality of your voice. One final thing to note is that most of the people watching YouTube videos are going to be watching either on a phone or a laptop where the speaker quality doesn't even match the audio quality of these mid-range options. And so again, going like way crazy expensive is only going to be worth it if the person watching your video is also watching it on a super expensive setup with really nice speakers or really nice headphones. And even then, YouTube's compression bumps everything down to a sample rate of 41K, I think. And so recording at these really high bit rates won't make a difference if the output gets put back down to like a reasonable mid-range bit rate. And so while of course it is important to have good audio, it's important to have great audio, having flawless audio I don't think is even going to reach your audience. So again, this is where I landed in my quest to find the best microphone for me. Thank you. Hope this has been helpful. My name is Nicholas Johnson. Goodbye.